Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video, you're going to learn 13 behind-the-scenes facts about The Incredibles 2. There's a celebrity cameo appearance by R&B superstar Usher, and you also may not have known that what he says to Frozone was a callback to the first movie.
You're my biggest fan.
I am your biggest fan.
Instead of animating every character's scenes in chronological order, some characters were animated out of sequence, like Jack Jack. The raccoon fight was the first scene the animators worked on with Jack Jack because they decided it would be easier to know how to build his character arc to this moment if they already knew how the scene would play out. The raccoon fight was actually planned to be in the first movie, but during production they realized they weren't going to need the scene, so it was cut. However, Brad Bird liked the idea so much he made sure to find a place for it in the sequel. Pixar had to follow some guidelines to be allowed to have Jack Jack light himself on fire. For example, Jack Jack could only catch himself on fire if he was angry, and while he was lit up, he couldn't be in pain in any way. Making Jack Jack look like goo was very difficult for the animators, and their only solution was to animate his body frame by hand on top of his basic CG model. A sneaky reference to an influential director at Disney is hidden in Ambassador Henrietta Selick's name, which is a reference to Henry Selick, who directed The Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, and Coraline. This scene with Helen was one of the last completed on the film because it was added in very late into the production to help build tension toward the Screenslaver's return. If you saw The Incredibles 2 in theaters, you may remember the epilepsy warning signs that had to be posted in theaters due to this fight scene. However, Disney later re-edited the movie to comply with the Harding box test to make sure any future releases wouldn't cause people more seizures. Let me know down in the comments if you were bothered by the scene, or if you enjoyed it. Finding the Pizza Planet truck Easter egg is tough to spot in this movie, because it's a modified version of the truck, and is shown very quickly after Helen and the Screenslaver fall to the ground at the end of the chase scene. It took the animators at least 3 tries to design each background character in this scene to all look unique without being too flashy to overpower the scene. The Johnny Quest TV show was used in the movie because Brad Bird was a huge fan of the show growing up, and it was what inspired the retro-futuristic style of the Incredibles universe. The animators had issues with this hallway at first because it was too short, and Bob and Edna kept running into the wall at the end before finishing their dialogue. The animators' first attempt to fix it was by repeating a section of the hallway over and over again, but that didn't work because people noticed the repetition during test screenings. So they ended up going back and creating a whole new section of the hallway to avoid repeating any scenery and giving the characters enough room to deliver their lines. This next fact goes into spoiler territory, so consider yourself warned in case you haven't seen the movie yet. You may not have noticed that Evelyn's secret identity is hinted at in 2 ways. The first is that the black and white checker patterns she wears are similar to the images she uses as a screenslaver to hypnotize her victims. And secondly, her name Evelyn Dever sounds very similar to Evil Endeavor. To check out my very first video on the channel about The Incredibles, click the video you see on the screen. If you'd like to support my work so I can continue to make more videos like these, join my Patreon community by clicking the link down in the descriptions. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and click the bell to always be notified when I post a new video, so you can keep learning more fun facts about your favorite films.